Hey guys, Fukuno's Micey here with Android Police. In the recent years, the Pixel is one of the most anticipated flagships in the Android community. However, this year with the Google Pixel 3 XL, it has suffered so many hardware and software issues that most people are a bit more hesitant in purchasing this $900 flagship right away. So in this video, I'll clear that up a bit by showing you what I believe to be the 5 best and 5 worst things about Google's newest flagship. Let's start it off on a positive note with the pros. Ever since Google released their first generation of Pixels, they've always been at the top of the smartphone camera game, and this year's no different. Most people buy the Pixel just for that amazing sensor on the back. So what makes a single sensor so great? Well, for the most part, it's Google's HDR Plus processing that enhances any picture taken to make the colors look natural and sharp, and provides really good detail and exposure in any lighting situation. On top of Google's algorithm enhancements, there are a handful of other useful features that also blow people away. For example, this year with motion autofocus, you can tap on anything in the viewfinder and the phone will track that object even if it moves around to keep it in focus and properly exposed. Night shot makes any picture taken at night, even in almost complete darkness, turn into a daylight looking photograph. And for the most part, it works amazingly. You also can't forget playground mode for some fun AR goodness, unlimited Google Photos cloud storage at full resolution, a secondary front-facing camera for wider selfies, and the extra camera modes like Photosphere. The next best thing about the Pixel 3 is the software. You can't go wrong with stock Android. Google's material design is plastered everywhere and keeps the UI looking beautiful and modern. There's plenty of eye-catching animations, no bloatware, and you're assured of monthly security patches and major software updates for up to 3 years straight. Most phones go without any updates, sitting a year or more behind the latest version. I also enjoy all of the Pixel's exclusive features like call screen to avoid wasting my time with scam calls, flip to shh to quickly turn on D&D mode when you place your phone face down on a flat surface, Pixel stand integration, a quick way to hide the notch in the developer options, all of its beautiful live wallpapers, and the extra camera features I touched on before. Sure, it has its controversies such as the gesture navigation. I wish Google would have done something like the iPhone's gestures, which does a better job of giving us a bit more screen real estate. I'm also not a fan of having to swipe up the dock twice or drag my dock past the center of the screen just to get into my app drawer. Personally, I switched to Launcher V2 to get into my app drawer immediately with a single flick. These are small things that can be fixed by using a third-party launcher, and Google could always improve these features with a future update. If you're really familiar with Android, then rooting and using a ROM or Magis module can also ease those sorts of complaints. But overall, the Pixel software makes for a great experience that anyone can come to love, even if it takes some time to get used to or if there are a few features that could be improved. Now, what I've always liked about the Pixels is that they are extremely fluid and lag-free. Of course, long-term performance can vary, but this year's Pixel 3 XL looks very promising. It has Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 845 chipset, which includes an Adreno 630 GPU for amazing gaming performance, and stock Android 9 Pie just flies when navigating throughout the interface. It's not as fast as the OnePlus 6T or as fluid as the iPhone XS, but you honestly won't care because the difference in performance isn't huge. The only thing I would say is a bit outdated is the amount of RAM, but I'll get to that in a bit. I also really enjoyed the display. On the Pixel 3 XL, it's a bit bigger at 6.3 inches, OLED, has a better screen to body ratio, and colors are a bit more accurate when compared to its predecessor. The brightness isn't as bright as the Note 9, but it's nothing you'll complain about. It's an all-around solid screen. I just wish the dark theme within the software was actually true black and not dark gray to better take advantage of the OLED panel. Lastly, the battery on the XL was great. It does have a bit less capacity than the Pixel 2 XL, but nothing drastic, just 90 mAh less. Of course, results may vary, and if you get the regular Pixel 3, then you won't have the same battery experience, but with the Pixel 3 XL, I got around 4 to 5 hours of screen on time, and it easily lasted me an entire day. This is with heavy usage including tons of video watching, social media, texting, and web browsing. I also always have Bluetooth enabled for my Moto 360 2nd Gen. Yes, I still use it. Wi-Fi or mobile data, location, and brightness set to near max. It's not amazing or anything, but it's still quite solid. Okay, so this is the part of the video where most people will get mad or annoyed if I nitpick at something small or irrelevant. Just know that even though these upcoming things are undesirable, I still found the pros to outweigh the cons. Let's start with the most obvious complaint, the notch and the chin. This is the biggest notch I've ever seen on a smartphone. It may not be as wide as the iPhones, but it's really deep. It even looks like a face with those 2 cameras and speaker in the middle. Sure, you can hide it in the settings, but you'd be losing a lot of screen real estate since the notification bar just gets pushed down instead of staying in the same place. A good example of what Google should have done is what OnePlus did to hide the notch on the OnePlus 6 and 6T. Also, if you're just going to hide the notch, you can probably just save yourself a few bucks and get the regular Pixel 3. The sizable chin adds on to that problem, but at least they made good use of it by adding some powerful front-facing speakers. Another massive complaint has to do with the frosted glass on the back of the phone. Even though it does feel nice and looks amazing out of the box, it's still extremely scratchable. Simple things like having the phone in the same pocket as my keys or spare change can result in random scratches. You can wash off those types of scratch marks as they're most likely residue, but it's kind of annoying that the phone gets marked up so easily. It's also not just scratches that make the phone look ugly, but the oil from your hands are also much more noticeable on the matte back. The best solution is to pick up a case, or if you don't want to bulk up the device, then get a skin from Dbrand. I'm currently in love with their extra glass skin element that comes with the Pixel 3. It lets me use 2 textures instead of 1 while also keeping the Pixel signature look. If you're wondering which one I'm using, it's the matte black for the background and their black camel for the glass. I'll drop a link down below if you want to pick one up for your device. Moving on to memory management, it's also a problem that a lot of people are facing on the Pixel 3, including myself. The only problem is that I can only have around 3 to 4 apps open in memory at a time. Cycling more than that will force some apps out of memory. There are various theories as to why this is occurring. Some people think it's because the phone doesn't have enough RAM, while Android kernel developer Nathan Chancellor found that Google switched up how it handled low memory states by using something called LMKD, and it could be a bit too aggressive at killing apps. He also thinks there could be a potential kernel memory leak. It's probably a software issue though, because the Galaxy S9 has 4GB of RAM, yet it can handle way more than 4 apps in the background. Google has promised to fix this in the coming weeks though, so yay. The Pixel 3 XL is not a cheap phone. Matter of fact, it's one of the more expensive ones that you can get, peaking at the same $1,000 price as the base model of the Note 9 and the iPhone XS. The Pixel 3 is a bit cheaper at $900 for the 64GB version. That cost is tougher to justify because of all the various issues and problems the Pixel 3 has, and I'm not even done with this list. Plus, it doesn't have as many features as the Note 9, the OLED isn't as good, the design isn't helping, and the specs in the phone are almost identical to a cheaper phone like the $550 OnePlus 6T. Don't get me wrong, this is one of the best phones to be released this year, even if it does have a few issues at release. However, I do think the Pixel 3 XL is a bit overpriced. Lastly, the Pixel 3 XL has plenty of other minor issues, some of which can probably be fixed with a simple software update, but others could be hardware problems. Some of these may seem like nitpicks, but for many, these could be deal breakers. Some examples include poor audio quality in video recordings. One of the Pixel 3 XL's front-facing speakers is much louder than the other. The Pixel 3 and 3 XL don't support recording for 4K video at 60 FPS, even though the Snapdragon 845 can certainly handle it. 10-watt wireless charging is only supported via the Google Pixel Stand and certified chargers sold via the Made for Google program. So you can't use any random 10-watt wireless charger from Amazon or eBay because it'll just charge at lower speeds. When playing sound through the phone's speaker, even at low volumes, the back starts to vibrate. It just goes insane at max volume. This is definitely a nitpick, but something I've never experienced on any other phone in quite this way. There's plenty of other minor issues that I didn't cover, but if you want a complete list of all the problems the Pixel 3 and 3 XL have, then I'll drop 2 links to an Android Police and XDA article where they explain all the current issues in detail, together with a status for any possible incoming fix. Either way, that's the 5 best and 5 worst things within the Google Pixel 3 XL. If you like this video, then go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Let me know in the comments what you think of the Pixel 3. Don't forget to check out dbrand.com for some amazing skins, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.